You know, it was a hard-fought game between what I feel are two of the best teams in the league. And unfortunately, this time we came up on the short end of the stick. But one thing I cannot fault our kids is their effort and their desire. And they gave everything they had. So, you know, maybe the ball didn't fall every time we wanted it to fall. You know, maybe everything didn't go exactly as planned. But one thing you cannot fault is their effort and their desire. And they've been so coachable all season long. And the one thing I'm proud of is that we're not done. So, you know, this one hurt because we know how badly we would like to have gotten to the final game and seen what could have happened there. But, you know, in my opinion, this was like a championship game because of the caliber of teams that were on the court. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Central. I wish them nothing but the best tomorrow. But I hope we'll still get some attention toward an at-large because I think this team deserves it. You know, we lost to the top RPI team in our league today on a neutral floor. But, you know, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. But if you look at our body of work, this team is very capable and very deserving, and I hope we get that chance.
Questions for our student athletes?
Yes.
The offensive putbacks played seemed like you were very determined to get any basket on a day where not a lot of baskets.
Yeah, at that point in the game, I had to just do it for my teammates, crashing hard, and that helped us keep it, you know, back in the game. But at that time, it was just all out or nothing at that point. So me going to crash, I had to.
Now to the last possession, three-pointer, what were you looking for at that point?
We obviously needed a three, and we had to play, and I felt like my man was kind of going under, so I was trying to take the three. Wasn't a good read, and she blocked the shot. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
This was picked to win the MAC last, win the MAC league, win the MAC tournament. How do you evaluate the season in general at this point?
Like I said, I think we've had an amazing run the whole entire season. I couldn't be more proud of my team and the effort that we bring day in and day out, practice day in and day out. I couldn't be more proud of our teammates. We took a tough loss tonight, and like I said, we're not done playing. And I think it's important for our teammates to know that we have to move forward from this and get ready to play again.
It seems like you guys have a huge amount of determination. Where does that come from? Coaching? Does that come from within you guys? Where does that come from?
Everything together. I mean, we're like a family with our coaches, teammates. We wanted it so bad, and we just knew we just wanted to leave out everything out on the floor, and it didn't work this time. But I mean, yeah, I'm proud of our team. We played hard. We were down, and we still, I mean, we didn't give up, and yeah, I mean, we still have you know more games to come, and we had a great. I mean, we lost today, but we had a great season. I mean, we lost 3 times, and we won 27. So hopefully that will pay off.
Appreciate it. You guys are giving up, I think, 46 points in MAC play. Central Michigan, the 3 times that you guys played, in the first half, you scored 40 twice, 38 once. What is so difficult about defending?
They're a great team, and you got to give credit where credit's due. They're a good team. Central is going to play their best basketball against Toledo. We all know that. But they're a great team, and you got to give credit to them.
For either of you, how difficult is it? They make their first day, 4 shots, all 3-pointers, and you have to play catch up all of it today. How tough is that? How hard was it to get it to a point at the end where you still had a shot?
I mean, yeah, it felt like at the beginning they could throw a half-court shot and it will fall in, and our shots didn't. But we just talked, you know, between us and say, hey, let's just play our game. And, I mean, it's not over. I mean, that's the most important game right now. And we fought. I think we kept fighting, and we came back, but not enough.
Chris, is there any common theme? You guys have gotten to this point several times and haven't quite gotten over the hump. Is there one common theme that you can look at, or is it different year by year?
I don't necessarily think it's a common thing. It's not a curse. It's not. We come here, we compete, we play great teams, we give up a great fight every year. We always just come up short. We can't really fault our effort. We can't fault our hard work that we've been through since June. We can't fault that. Like I said, every year I feel like we come here in this tournament and we give great amount of effort. Just come up short.
You know, and don't be, just to remind you, Penn State won the Big Ten. They didn't win the Big Ten tournament. You know, upsets happen, and it's unfortunate it's not what we planned, but it doesn't mean that we failed either. You know, we had a tremendous regular season, and we lost one game in this postseason tournament, and yeah, it stings. But there are other teams out there in leagues across the country that are going to make the NCAA tournament that got upset in their tournament. You know, it's unfortunate that that's where the bid goes, the automatic. But, you know, we're not the only team that won the regular season that lost a tournament game. And, you know, I don't want them to hold their head out walking out of here feeling like they've done something terrible. They played everything they had today, and we came up a little bit short for the third time in this season. So I'm very proud of them.
We'll let Lucretia and I'm going to head back to the locker room. Coach, if you can remain.
Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Questions for Coach Dillon?
When you could educate me, with Baker, George threw the foul on Baker. Was there 8 foul? Why were you guys not shooting?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, I thought we should have as well. But when I asked, I didn't get an answer.
To start the second half, it looked like the emphasis was to attack their bigs. And you guys seemed to do that very well against the ball.
We got some point-blank looks, and it just wouldn't go down, and it's unfortunate. And some of it was they were double-teaming Yolanda, and at times they got her tied up. At other times, I think she was worried about the double team and didn't take it as strong as she normally does. You know, you look at the consistency that kid shot all season long, and it's unfortunate that the first half the ball wasn't falling the way that it did all season long. But the one thing I'm really proud of is she didn't hang her head. She came back in the second half and really did a great job to get us back in the game, and we kept going to her. So it's unfortunate that it happened, but in the same vein, our kids gave everything they had to fight back. And even though maybe the shots weren't falling for certain people, or maybe they turned it over, or maybe they fouled, or maybe a possession didn't go our way, the one thing I was really proud of was our composure. We never felt like it was out of reach. We never stopped playing until the buzzer sounded, and that's the way we've hung our hat. We kind of hung our hat on that kind of, that's how we want to be remembered, you know, as a team that never gave up. Well, the big thing was giving them some calls because they were slipping a lot of things. I thought they were passing to the post and they were doing speed cuts, and at times we were getting burned on that. At times they were just getting some isolations and trying to drive us to draw fouls. And unfortunately, because you know when we played up there, we were able to sag and get some deflections. They did the smart thing. They started cutting with that sagging man so that she had to stay with the defense. And when that happened, they were able to get some shots, draw some fouls that, you know, didn't happen up there. But, you know, they're an incredibly tough team to guard. And that's why they put so many points on the board all season. They've got a lot of talent on that team. But I thought the second half, and especially late, you know, we even trapped a little bit, and I thought that caused a little bit of havoc, enough to get some turnovers, to get some possessions back. And, you know, I thought we boxed out a lot better the second half than we did the first. We gave up. It said only 3 at halftime. It felt like 6 because they were so painful to watch because they were point-blank putbacks.
Did you get an answer? Bradford, they called her for fouls within a couple seconds of each other in the first half, and then they switched it to, I believe.
Did Julio?
Was that just an error, or did they review it?
they're not going to review that. That's not a reviewable play. But, you know, I thought it was on her as well, and it's unfortunate that it was called that way.
Did they change that foul or the one before?
I think our staff had 2 fouls on Bradford, and then when I asked the scores table, they said 1. And, of course, at that point, even when you're asking the officials and it plays in, they're not going to stop the play. I mean, I tried everything I could, but the ball's in session or in play, and it's too far along. They're not going to go back and review that at that point.
You made reference to Penn State as an example of a team that, unlike Penn State, the NCAA looks to be different.
I understand that.
What message do you send? I mean, to some observers, they'll say, well, Toledo didn't even get to the championship game in this tournament.
Some people could say, well, what you do is you look at the paper and you say the top 2 RPI teams in our league played today. And that's Central and us. You also look at it and say Central beat Texas when they were ranked 20th in the country and played an unbelievable schedule and hung with a lot of teams that they didn't even beat. You also look at our schedule and say we beat Charlotte, who had a very strong season in the A-10, who may get an automatic or an at-large. You also look at the fact that we have several other teams that are within the top 100. And you know, Central's been hovering around 50. People could make the argument, well, you don't have a top 50 win. Well, you know what? On a given day, they're a top 50 team. And I hope the people that are watching today paid attention to the skill and athleticism that was on the floor today that's capable of winning an NCAA tournament team or game. Because either team that was on the court today will scare a lot of major BCS teams.
Bradford lights you up at your place and does not play well at her place. This was more like the first game. Did you see anything, you know, differently as the season evolved, trying to match up against her?
She's a tough matchup. I mean, look at her height and with her perimeter skills. She's a great rebounder. She's a great defender. You know, it's tough when she rotates over, and she's a great shot blocker. You know, she's just a tough matchup in our league. She's a kid who's capable of playing at a higher level. And, you know, yeah, she's a concern. We did a great job up at their place containing her. Today, she got loose. But in the same vein, in the first part of the game, they all got loose on threes. And it's unfortunate that we weren't able to get a hand in their face or stop a few of those. But again, you look at what happened. Our kids never gave up. They fought back. We were down. Many times we could have said, you know what, we're done, stick a fork in us, and we never did. This team has so much fight and desire, and the chemistry that they have is why they've had the season they've had. They get along so well. They care about each other so much. They just don't want to give up on each other. And they didn't until the buzzer sounded.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.